Welcome to the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Alysia. Greatness is a decision and your birthright. You deserve to love the woman looking back at you in the mirror. This show is for the purpose-driven female entrepreneur who is committed to only counting the time she gets back up. The woman who is ready to ignite the flame within, find her voice, and use the power of her story to transform the lives of those around her. This is your weekly fuel to inspire you to action, where I'll be sharing inspirational stories, real talks with thought leaders and successful entrepreneurs from around the world, and provide you with actionable success strategies for creating a business you love. I'm a content marketing coach, and I'm committed to helping you as an online creator and entrepreneur wherever you are to turn your dreams into a reality, to help you transform your messaging so you can create a genuine connection with your audience and grow your income online. You are far more powerful and stronger than you will ever imagine. We are the warriors. You were born for this. Let's make life your bitch. Welcome to the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. I am your host, Brittany Alysia, and Merry Christmas. I know by the time you're going to be listening to this is Boxing Day, but I really made the decision this year that I was going to build a business around my life. My life came first. And it's a really interesting concept, right? When you make the decision to do that, because you get out of the hustle and the thing for me, so I'll speak from my perspective, is it got me out of the hustle and it got me focused on really creating a business that really focused on when I thought about, what is my dream day, I was able to create that time-wise, hour-wise, the programs that I was running. And especially in July after I had my daughter, I was so grateful that I didn't have as many private clients as I used to, because it made me realize just how much more time I want to spend with my family. And it made me really understand my clients who are moms at a deeper level. So what I ended up making the decision to do was I tried out the multiple programs, right? There's a lot of women on the internet right now saying run multiple programs. You see women running different programs every few weeks. You're selling programs, and it just got really, really tiring, constantly feeling like I was launching. And I always felt like I was starting over. I don't know if anyone else has tried the multiple programs approach, but, for me, that was not enjoyable with my life. Is it something I've helped my clients with? Yes, but it isn't personally something that I enjoy, especially when I'm helping people hit those 10K months, right? Those multiple programs are really good for women who are wanting to scale, because you already have a really engaged audience. So if you are someone who is struggling right now with, you're really struggling with trying to create multiple programs, and then you find that you're constantly decreasing the price of your programs because no one's purchasing, it's just that you don't have an audience yet that trusts you. And really this all comes back to trust. Right? If you were to think about yourself, and when you first meet a friend or, a new boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, and you go through the courtship, right? You really go through the feelings of building trust. It's the same thing with business. You are still building relationships. And so when you can actually put yourself in the perspective of, this being a long game, not a short one. And when you can actually focus on not trying to make that quick buck, but actually focusing on how can I build relationships, then you actually can start collapsing time, right? I see so many people, I actually wrote it as a quote inside my phone the other day, was so many people are trying to collapse time when they haven't even started the time yet. Right? They don't even have their first client, or they don't even have, a good solid amount of clients, and you're trying to collapse time around that. Well, 0 times 0 or 0 times 1, 0 times 100 is still 0, right? And so we need to start with one client, two clients, and then all of a sudden you get the hang of it and it starts creating this domino effect. And so if you've joined either Road to Cash, Visibility to Cash, any of those programs where there's a free one, Visibility to Cash is $33. I actually go into explaining that whole value ladder and engagement ladder trust cycle and the importance of building trust. Because if you are currently struggling with people not purchasing, it's just that they don't trust you, right? And so if we can sit down and we can identify, okay, do you have a solid product? So, check this off your list right now. Do you have a solid product and a solid offer, right? Are you just trying to sell a program and you know what it is? Or are you actually able to sell it to someone else and be really fucking excited about it, right? Because people don't really care about the logistics, right? I learned that at a very early stage in my coaching journey when I was first taught to tell people, oh, you get a weekly call. So you get 52 calls and you get blah, 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 blah. And, nobody cared about 52 calls. They cared about what is the result I'm going to get from working with you, right? And so we're selling the result. It's the whole idea of sell people what they want, give them what they need. This is why it's so important for you to understand your dream client. So do you have a solid offer? Do you know what you sell and does it light you up, right? Do you have a solid result that you are selling people? And do you feel very, very confident that you can get people that result? I know one of the things that I struggled with in my business for a while was the result that I was selling. And when I sat down and restructured the Make Life Your Bitch mastermind, and I decided to put in the 10K guarantee, I made the decision to no longer do multiple little programs, because what ended up happening was I'm someone who really, really wants people to get results. I don't like selling someone one thing and then in order for them to get results, they have to buy the next thing and then they have to buy the next thing. I am not for that. And what I found myself doing was women would enter these short programs that I was doing and I would actually see okay, so they're in a content program, but I actually saw that they aren't really clear on their niche, or they aren't really clear on who their dream client is. And so it was these missing pieces. And I felt like I was contributing to women coming in thinking they knew what they needed. And they would come in and they'd be like, I need help with my content because no one's engaging. And the truth was, well, it's not even the content piece that's the problem right now. You have other problems going on. And so I was trying to help women get up to speed so that the program that they purchased, they could actually be successful with. And I was like, you know what? This is out of alignment for me because I want women to actually get results. And the women who are entering my world are willing to invest in themselves, right? It's not your first rodeo. You've probably been in your coaching business for a while, but you aren't getting the results that you want. Maybe you're making a sale here and there, but you have invested. And, a lot of the women I say that I work with, when I think about my dream client, her frustrations is that she knows, she can see, okay, the strategy works. It's working for other people possibly, but is it going to work for me? Because she's wondering I don't want to invest any more fucking money into another program, into something else because nothing's working right now for me. And so if nothing's working for me, why is this one going to be any different? Right? So I sense my dream client's frustration because she's done the work. She's bought all the programs, right? And she's probably spent thousands of dollars, tens of thousands possibly. But what's happening is you have all these pieces now. And so you're very intelligent when it comes to business. You have all these different pieces. Maybe you've taken a sales course. Maybe you've taken stuff on content. Maybe you've taken a niche course. But nobody's actually helped you put all those pieces together, right? And so I got really tired of doing programs and contributing to that problem that I made the decision a month ago that I was like, nope, fuck it.
I'm doing the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind and private coaching. There's 2 things. That's it. I don't want to do all the things anymore. And like I said, like I got really frustrated with feeling like I was launching all the time. That did not seem fun. And so I made the decision. We're doing Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind, private coaching. Private coaching, what's the whole point of it? Private coaching is always just deeper proximity and more personalized support. That is the whole point of private coaching, is that you actually have someone that you can specifically go to and say like, you know what, business might be great right now, but shit is hitting the fan in my life. Or maybe it's that you are currently working on a specific program that you are trying to build out for yourself that you need personalized support with, right? A lot of the women in the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind, it's a small group right now, right? It's a small group of women. And so they get a lot of personalized support at the time of this recording. But as that grows, it's going to be something where it's more at a group level, more at a masterminding level. There will be more hot seat kind of coaching where everyone learns from each other. And I always, my number one thing that I hear from my clients the most is how genuine I am and how much I care about my clients. So for me, when I think about what my goals are, and I would love to challenge you to do this, in the coming week and stuff before the new year, is really identify for yourself, because this is something we do every 90 days in the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind. I like to do it every 3 the new moon, because I'm into the energetic side of things too, right? Inside the mastermind, we have strategy and mindset. And so we set goals, and it's really identifying for yourself what is the impact you want to make in the world this year, and also your financial goals, and what's this all going to do for you? Because, the thing is, it's great for you to have dreams, but, if you're sitting there with a calculator and thinking to yourself, well, I want to make 10K this month because I want to pay for this, that feels like pressure. That doesn't feel fun, right? We already know what your dreams are. Once we get clear on what that is, we know what the dreams are, we know what we're working towards, and now it's putting a plan in place to make sure that you're actually going to hit the goals that you desire. And it's chunking it down. The majority of people, especially if you follow human design, when it comes to human design, actually need things chunked down instead of a lot of long-term goals. I was talking to one of the girls on the Human Design podcast, one of the recordings recently, and she was saying that there's only one type or something like that can actually set long-term goals and be very committed to them. A lot of people actually need them chunked down. And so it's identifying that for yourself. So if I think long-term goal, as in long-term this year, right? My goal is to be the number one or one of the most recognized programs for helping women hit 10K months, because I believe in my program that much. Like I said, that's why I have a 10K guarantee, that if after, a year you being in the program, you aren't making 10K months, I will continue to work with you for free. And the thing is regular, the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind is $555 a month for a year, or 5K paid in full. Or right now, because it's Boxing Day, I have a Boxing Day deal and a surprise going on, and it only goes till the 31st. And that is that the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind is $222 per month, or 2K paid in full, right? And so it's one of those things where it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Well, if I'm my goal is to hit 10K months, this price point makes sense. The only thing I ever say to women is that I don't put a price point that low because it's not valuable. Because I know, even for myself, when I've invested in things in the past, when I was spending lots and lots of money, I made sure I showed up to those calls, right? And so the mastermind itself is not something that is a low price point, therefore not valuable. I just really care about the women in the group, right? I want to make sure that women are actually successful, and I don't want them to feel like stressed out when they enter and overwhelmed with what they're investing in. I have to think about where my clients are at in regards to their business, right? Like my clients are like lawyers, they make lots of money. I work with women around the world who have, like, it's not that they're broke. I'm not speaking to broke women, but the business is something new, and it can be a lot to be investing tens of thousands of dollars into a program when you haven't even hit your own first 10K months. So for me, I think of it as like, well, what is this woman wanting to achieve, while also, putting it at a price point that like feels exciting to her. And so that's just how I do it. I never, like, whenever I talk to my clients about their pricing, we go into a deep discussion about what feels really good for them. And for me, it feels really good, right? So I sat down a couple days ago and I identified, well, what do I want to make this year? And also, what is the goal that I want to achieve, right? What is the impact I want to make on the world? So that would be like what I want to achieve with the program, plus the lives that I'm touching just by creating content, helping women believe in themselves, the ripple effect in the world. So I always like to say, like, one person comes on my podcast or listens to the podcast and they tell a friend about something, and it creates this ripple effect in the world, right? And then, like, financially, I was like, $1 million this year scares the shit out of me. There's so much how involved in it. And I don't like to tell people, 100% to like stress out about the how, but setting, like, it depends who the person is. If you are someone who, wants a plan. So for me, I sat down and identified my plan. Okay, so at the price point that it's at, how many women do I have to bring into the mastermind per month, right? And is it growth? How do I want to do it? And all of a sudden I broke it down and I was like, shit, like this is actually pretty easy. And once you identify like something like that you want to achieve, and like I said, we go into this in the mastermind. So of course, like obviously I would love, if you're listening, for us to join us, because you're obviously in my world for a reason. But, it's identifying for myself, like how many people do I need to bring in per month at the price point? And how do I want to grow and expand that? How many people do I want to privately coach at a time, right? Like for me, like I said, I have a daughter. I have a boyfriend. I, have hobbies. I stepped away from all my hobbies because my business became like my baby. And now I really want to get back into doing the things I love, things like painting, things like learning how to play the piano, which I'm not good at, but I enjoy doing. I love building architecture Lego. That's like my guilty pleasure. Is I have things all over my house of like these different buildings of Lego that I've built. I like puzzles. I'm very creative. So, it's really getting back into, well, what are the things that I love? I love family game nights, and really getting back into that. And in order to be able to do that, I had to identify what my perfect day looked like, what my perfect week looked like, what the schedule looked like. I didn't drop an episode on Thursday, and it was because I made the decision that I was taking a week off. Even for the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind, on the 26th, today as you're listening, it is going to be a recorded call where I'm going to be talking about content on the call. Last time we talked about the value ladder and really showing the women how to identify your dream client using your program, right? Like I'm so tired of like doing dream clients based on like, I think it's okay. Let me get this like straight. Like it's super important that yes, you have like a clear person. Like I like to name my dream client. I like to know what she looks like, what her fears are, all that kind of stuff, where she lives. And so I do that because the reason is because I humanize her. She becomes a human. But when it comes to the side of things where what are her dreams, her fears. Well, when I create my program, I actually encourage the ladies to do an activity of dream client based on your program itself versus just kind of sitting there being like, well, she's like, into different hobbies and like her fears are that like she's not going to make enough money in her business or whatever the fuck it is, right? That's boring. It's not fun and it's not heartfelt. It's not real. And so there's an activity I like to do with the women in the group that actually helps you get really, really clear on who your dream client is. And when you do this, all of a sudden this like switch flips on where you feel so confident in what you do that, like myself, you're willing to put out a guarantee. And I'm not saying you need a guarantee, but for me, I'm so confident in the Make Life Your Bitch mastermind that I'm willing to put out a 10K guarantee. And obviously you have to do the work. It's not like you come in and wave a magic wand and like whoop-de-doodles, like things are just going to fall into your lap. Like there's work to be done. There's mindset stuff to be done, but it's really focused around building a business that you love while still living your life. Like, the sound quality probably on today's episode isn't great because it is, Christmas. And it really is. Like I'm recording this on Christmas Day and I'm recording it from my phone because, I don't want to be sitting in my office today. So it's just easier for me to step away and, feel the vibe of Christmas and the joy of, the magic for today and just really tapping into what feels good in the moment. And I loved that so many of you gave me permission for that things didn't need to be perfect. I really appreciated like all the women saying, Brittany, it's okay. You don't need to look 1000% all the time. You can come on and, have your hair in a mamba and we just want to learn from you and connect with you and, see you and that kind of thing. And that felt so good. It gave me permission that it's like, oh yeah, I don't need to be totally perfect because a lot of my mentors are like, they're beautiful when they come on, but they also don't have children. And it's just not their life, perhaps, right? Like we get to be equal but different. And we get to rise together and be 100% you. Like I have a tattoo on my forearm that says be yourself. And it's a daily reminder that I just have to choose to be myself and not fall into, seeing what everyone else is doing and trying to be like them or thinking that I'm doing it wrong and that maybe I'm not at the like 1 million success that I desire because I'm doing something wrong. When I get into that trap, that's what's wrong, right? It's like focusing on just what's the next right thing. What is my next move? Having the goal, I have taken my laptop and shown the women in my programs my staircase. We have like 9-foot ceilings in our house. So it's 16 stairs from our main floor to upstairs. And I say, like, do you want to fall down the stairs? If you're trying to jump from stair 1 to stair 16, you're going to fall. You can jump 2 steps at a time. I like to run up the stairs like that. That's probably why I fall down the stairs often. But it's allowing yourself to say like, okay, this is where I'm going. I see myself, I want to get to the top of these stairs. Okay. But I just take it one step at a time. What's the next thing I need to do? What's the next thing? So that's the thing that I want to challenge you with today. Even for the holidays, just dream really big. As we're coming up to the new year, there will be obviously another call talking about goals and all that kind of stuff. But really identify for yourself, like, what is the dream and what do I want to really achieve this year? And what is the life that I want, right? What is it that I really want to build? Like, what is the reason I'm doing this business in the first place? Like for me, of course, 100%, like I have my own personal dreams for my family, but I also have a dream of helping women achieve their dreams. And if you're new to my world, I made this decision 5 years ago, this week. My ex and I split, and he was seeing another woman, and my life ended up in pieces because I thought he was going to be the one. It was actually New Year's. I very much remember. I'll never forget the moment that I was leaving a bar. I was still drinking at the time. I don't drink anymore. I'm like 4.5 years sober. But I remember I was walking out of the bar, and I live in Canada, so I fell on the ice on my face on New Year's Eve. And I remember looking back and seeing him and his now wife standing there and just being upset and also, leaving. And that was the moment that my entire life changed. And I didn't know that was going to happen in that moment, but it was like this metaphor of my life, of me falling to the ground on my face, and I felt like so embarrassed. And it's just like my life was in shambles and him and I split, and my life was in pieces, and I felt like I was starting over. But with the starting over, I made the decision that I wasn't going to sit in the shit, and I wasn't going to sit in, the past, but I was going to look at it as, I get to put all these pieces back together my way. There's some pieces I'm going to leave behind, but I get to create my life the way that I desire. And that was like before coaching. It was just like I made this decision that I just wanted to build my dream life. And so at each step, I just put a piece on, and it's like, well, this is what I want. And that year I chose a word for the year, and I chose joy, and whatever brought me joy. And I would ask myself, does this bring me joy? And if the answer was no, I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it. If it did bring me joy, then I was like, okay, I'm going to do more of this. And so I constantly asked myself that, and I did use that word actually for a couple of years. But what I did through putting these pieces together, I asked myself, what are my dreams? What are my desires? And I remember being at a Tony Robbins event in July of 2018 and making the decision. I had two decisions because this was the second event that I went to. The very first event that I went to of Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, was March of 2018. When I got there, 90% of the people raised their hands saying they were entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur since 2008, 2009, something like that. And so, I wasn't an entrepreneur in that moment though, that I was there at the Tony Robbins event in 2018. But, I thought that when I was at the event, well, must mean that I have to be an entrepreneur. But really, when I left there, I just learned how to love myself for the very first time. And that's why I feel that mindset is so important with the women in the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind, that it's not just about strategy. It used to be just about strategy, but now I see the importance of mindset. So we have, in the new year, we're having 2 calls a week, one of strategy, one of mindset, because it was too much to try and put them together. But I digress. So I ended up, really focusing on, I love myself. And then in July of 2018, I remember being at the event, and we were doing a visualization, and I was like, I want to be a coach, and I want to start a blog. And with the blog, that's where Make Life Your Bitch came in, was I named the blog that. And I just wanted to tell my stories. And the whole reason I wanted to be a coach and I wanted to start the blog was I just wanted to help one woman that after all the trauma, and everything I had ever been through, I believed that everything was worth it if I could help one woman see her worth, love herself, and go after her dreams. And so, if you're new to my world, I've been kidnapped, I've been raped, I've been mentally abused, physically abused, and I've had cancer. And for me, I truly feel in my entire being that it was all worth it, because it makes me a better coach today. When I help women and they tell me about their experiences, whether they're going through a breakup or there's something health related or they have past shit they need to work through, I can understand them at a deeper level because I've been through it. And so I really appreciate that about my journey. And so I said to myself, if I can help one woman go after her dreams, then everything I've been through is worth it. And I just wanted to help women go after their dreams. And so today I focus on the entrepreneur side of things because it helps women. I really like the fact of like coaching and how you have control over your income, right? You get to set your own prices. You get to decide what your programs are. You get to feel like decide what's really exciting to you. Some women aren't focused on wanting to make $1 million. They're just like, you know what? I want to make enough money to be able to travel, every month or like maybe once a year. Like that's how much money I want to make. Some of you might be listening to this and you're like, well, I don't really care about hitting 10K months, which is totally fine, right? But it's still the same process. It's like being able to build yourself a business that you love, which I am focused on helping my clients with, is just building a dream life and business that coincides together, that it walks a path together versus choosing one or the other. I don't believe in you having to choose one or the other. So like I said, my challenge for you after this episode is to just go dream big, sit down and identify what's the difference that you want to make in the world this year and how much money would you like to make. And then look at what your programs are and start identifying like, well, what would be a really good plan for me to put in place? And if it's something that you're struggling with and the plan is something that you're struggling with and then implementation of it, please, like I said, join us inside the Make Life Your Bitch Mastermind. I don't feel that you'll ever regret it. It's a lot of fun in there. I absolutely love and adore each and every one of my clients. They do become my friends. I know clients have come in and they've been kind of like leery of, the whole friendship side of things. I know some people say they don't want to be friends with their clients. I think it's important that we have that relationship because, it builds trust, and it also, I want to fall in love with your business as much as you love it. And at the same time, I think it's important that you have someone who's going to help you bring your vision to life, because I've been there where nobody believed in me. And I think it's very important that my clients understand that I care and I love them and that I'm here to help them, and believe in them when no one else does, because I went through the phase where people didn't believe in me and they questioned my crazy, to this day. I still have people when I say, like, I know I'm going to be a multimillionaire, who look at me like they're crazy. And the only reason is because their current lifestyle that they're living, the job that they're in or whatever it is, they don't have that kind of luxury or control that they get to create that beautiful life where they're currently at with the life that they have. Whereas for me, it gets to be easy. I believe that it gets to be easy. And the only way that it gets to be easy is by me having a clear plan, choosing joy, while also building trust with my audience. And so for me, I know those are the things that I have to do. And so then I ask myself, well, what do I want to do? What sounds really fun about building trust? And for people really getting to know me deeper and me getting to start helping women at a deeper level. So I love the podcast. I'm going to be focusing on reels and stories this year. Those lights me up. I've done live video in the past. I'm going to utilize that more in a reels sense. But, it's just really identifying, well, what feels really good, and I'm going to do that. And you know what? I know that some of my reels are going to suck in the beginning, but that's okay, right? It's just like if you listen to some of the first episodes of the podcast. But as you grow and you expand, like, we all have to start somewhere, and we tweak and adjust. And there's going to be people who listen to the podcast who can't stand me. Well, there's going to be some women who love it, and they want to be in my world, and they're like, I want to be, connected with her and all of that. So any hoodles, as I always say to my friends, family, and my clients, that is it for this episode. I will drop the link to the mastermind in the description. And like I said, it's currently $222 per month. It's $2,000 for the year. and you will be in, like I said, for the entire year, and the price will go up on the 1st, January 1st. So that is it for this episode. For all of you listening out there, I trust that you had an amazing Christmas. If you don't celebrate, Christmas and that, just hope you had some beautiful time, to relax and chill and soak up whatever kind of temperatures that you're in. I know it's cold a lot of places right now. I'm in Canada, like I said, so it's really fucking cold. But for everyone listening, go out there and make sure you make life your bitch.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Make Life Your Bitch podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share it with your bestie. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, feedback, or compliments that you want to throw like confetti, you can reach me directly at podcast@makelifeyourbitch.co. Thanks for listening.